Right then, settle down you lot, grab a drink, pull up a chair and listen to this, because it has been brewing in my mind like a decent pot of Earl Grey. Have you ever looked at a flag and thought, there is more to that bit of coloured cloth than meets the eye? On the other hand, perhaps you have been caught in one of those delightful online squabbles about who is a proper patriot and who is, well, let us just say not. Furthermore, have you ever argued with someone about whether to say tomato or tomato? Good, you're in the right place, because today we're having a proper chinwag about all of it. Now, I am not one for getting all worked up, mind you. Spent too many years watching the world go mad to get easily flustered. Nevertheless, there are a few things that do tickle my grumpy bone, and the way folks carry on about flags and what it means to love your country is definitely one of them. Especially when you see perfectly decent symbols getting dragged through the mud by, well, let us not get ahead of ourselves. Take the St. George's flag for instance. A simple red cross on a white background. Been around for yonks. For me, growing up, it was just the flag of England. You would see it at the football, maybe at the village fete. Harmless enough, right? However, then you start seeing it plastered everywhere by certain groups. The one with rather strong opinions about who belongs and who does not. On top of that, suddenly that simple flag gets a bit more complicated, does it not? It is like finding a good biscuit that has been nibbled on by something you would rather not think about. Still a biscuit, but you're a bit hesitant to take a bite. What's more, that is where we stumble into the messy business of patriotism or nationalism. Now, I'm a patriot through and through. Love my country, the rolling green hills, the proper pubs, even the internally glooming weather has a certain charm, does it not? Nevertheless, being here in Thailand, you appreciate these things even more. The little quirks that made England, well, England. However, this nationalism, that is a different kettle of fish altogether. It is like patriotism's slightly unhinged cousin, the one who drinks too much at family gatherings and starts shouting about how their football team is the only one that matters. See, patriotism, in my mind, is about a fondness for your home. It is about the shared history, the culture, and the little things that bind people together. It is about being proud of what your country has achieved, but also being willing to admit it has things wrong. It is a bit like being proud of your mate who has done well, but still giving him a nudge when he is being a bit of a twit. Nationalism, though, that is where things get a bit, well, shouty. It is that belief that your country is not just good but better than everyone else is. That your way of doing things is the only way. In addition, that anyone who is not from your patch is somehow less. It is the bloke at the pub who insists his pint is the only proper pint and everyone else is drinking dishwater. Bit tiresome, you know what I mean? Moreover, that brings us back to the far right lot. They tend to wave the flag with certain intensity. It is not just a symbol of national pride for them, it is a badge of inclusion. It is a way of saying you're either with us or you are not really one of us. Well, that, my friends, is where the trouble starts, because a flag should be something that unites, not divides. It should be something everyone under its banner can feel part of, not something that makes a good chunk of the population feel uneasy. Now, you might be thinking, alright grumpy git, we get it. Some people are a bit over the top with their flag waving. However, here is a bit where we take a little detour. Have you ever stopped to think about why these symbols become so potent? It is because they tap into something deep within us. That sense of belonging, that desire for a shared identity. It is not inherently bad. It is like, well, it is like Marmite. Some love it, some hate it, but it definitely invokes a strong reaction. The problem is when that perfectly natural feeling of belonging is twisted into something nasty, something that says we are in and you are out. It is like taking a lovely garden party and turning it into a territorial squabble over the best deck chair. Suddenly, what was meant to be a pleasant gathering turns sour. And that is why it is so important to be able to tell the difference between a genuine patriot who simply loves their country and wants the best for it, and someone who is using the symbols of patriotism to peddle a more diversive, often unpleasant agenda. It is not always easy, mind you. These things can be as subtle as the difference between a properly brewed cup of tea and something that tastes suspiciously like dishwater. Nevertheless, the key, I reckon, lies in the attitude. It is about inclusion, not exclusion. It is about celebrating what we have in common or dwelling on the differences. It is about looking forward to a better future for everyone, or trying to drag us back to some imagined golden age that probably was not all that golden for most people anyway. Moreover, that, my friends, leads us to the age-old question, is it a tomato or tomato? Because in the grand scheme of things, does it really matter how you pronounce it? It is still a bloody tomato, isn't it? It is the same fruit, regardless of the accent you put on it. And in much the same way, a love for your country should not depend on whether you tick all the right boxes according to some self-appointed gatekeeper. So, what is the takeaway from all this rambling? Well, it is this. Be wary of those who try to claim ownership of national symbols. Question their motives, look beyond the flag and listen to what they are actually saying. Because true patriotism, the decent sort, and the kind that builds bridges instead of walls, is about a shared love, not a shared hatred. It is about looking out for your neighbours, not looking down on those who are different. Right, I will get off my soapbox now. However, before I do, what do you lot reckon? Have you seen this sort of thing in your neighbourhood? What does your national flag mean to you? Let me know in the comments below. I might even read them if you're polite about it. Only joking. I read all the comments, the good, the bad and the ugly. Finally, if you enjoyed this little rant, chinwag, give the video a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe. It is free. Well, that is my 2 bahts worth, as we say over here in Thailand. Please take care. Keep flying the flag over England and the rest of the UK, as it is not against the law yet. Right then, off you pop. Moreover, someone has just said not to be too worked up about a bit of coloured cloth. However, we are not talking about a bit of coloured cloth, are we? Bye bye.